Shalom. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ha, Rekah, Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, alright? So the Spirit today has me in Judges in 19. Let's read it, starting at verse 1. And it came to pass in those days, there was no king in Israel, and there was a certain Levite sojourning on the side of Mount Ephraim, who took to him a concubine out of Bethlehem, Judah. And his concubine, so he got him a woman, right? And let's read about it. Verse 2. And his concubine played the whore against him, and went away from him unto her father's house to Bethlehem, Judah, and was there 4 whole months. All right, so she left him, and it says she played the whore against him, you see. So she's guilty of adultery, all right. Let me get the law on that. Let's see. Exodus 20 and 14. Thou shalt not commit adultery. All right? It's in the 10 Commandments. So a woman who plays the whore against her husband is committing adultery. All right? And the penalty is death for adultery. Let me see. Let's get it. Let's get the penalty for adultery. And this is going to be the laws in the kingdom. This is why the women are going to be in order. Because the law is going to be in order, right? They're going to know the law. The women will know the law. Right here in Babylon, America, they have no concerns. Matter of fact, this place exalts them to do wickedness, right? Enables them, right? They got the social media. And that's just, I don't have to say anything else. You just say those 2 words, social media, and that's literally a platform for a woman to play the whore, okay? So let's go to Leviticus 20:10. Let's read 20 and 10. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. All right? So that's why you're not going to have no whores in the kingdom, man, because these women know they'll be put to death if they go that route. You see, right now in Babylon, you can't tell your wife anything, if she gets upset, if you tell her something, she can leave you. She could, she could go and play the whore against you, like it says in verse 2 on Judges 19 and 2. And she's not going to get punished here in America, Matter of fact, in America, they'll pay your woman, if you have kids with her, they'll pay her for you to be out of the house. It's called child support. You see? So, I'm sure a lot of brothers in this truth has paid their fair share of child support, I know I have. And I used to, That's part of the curses, man. Let's get that. That's Baruch, right? You got to pay for where you live. You got to pay for where you eat. You got to pay what you eat, for everything you do. And you have to pay even for your children sometimes, payments to your wife who's committing adultery. What's What is holy about that situation? There's nothing holy which is pure and true. There's nothing pure and true about that situation. If the government's making you pay money to your wife, and she has your kids, and she's in another house, she's living at what they call co-parenting nowadays, and people brag about how they're such good co-parents, and they got, I seen people with t-shirts and shit that says bonus dad, when the woman's committing adultery according to the scriptures, but you'll have the couple, the new man in the life, he'll be wearing a t-shirt that says bonus dad, this is Babylon for you, let me see, what was I gonna look? Oh yeah. It's in Baruch 3, I believe. Yep, Baruch 3 and verse 8. It says, "Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from Yahweh our power." So not only do we have to pay our mortgage or our rent or our car notes or everything we have, we have to pay for it, including your children, and including if your woman leaves you and she goes and be with another man, and now the government's gonna pay her because you have kids with her. You see, that's the kind of justice that Esau Edom brings to the table. You see. Let's go to Judges 19 and verse 3. "And her husband arose and went after her to speak friendly unto her, and to bring her again, having his servant with him and a couple of asses. And she brought him into her father's house, and when the father of the damsel saw him, he rejoiced to meet him." So he was the father-in-law. He got along with the son, And that's a little more typical than the other way around. The mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law. Good luck with that situation in this day and age, That's a crazy dynamic right there. The mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law. Man. Let's get to verse 4. It says, "And his father-in-law, the damsel's father, retained him, and he abode with him 3 days. So they did eat and drink and lodge there." All right, so this Levite, he was getting along with his father-in-law, man. His father-in-law was being cool to him, eating and feeding him and stuff. Verse 5. "And it came to pass on the 4th day, when they arose early in the morning, that he rose up to depart. And the damsel's father said unto his son-in-law, Comfort thine heart with a morsel of bread, and afterward go your way. And they sat down and did eat and drink, both of them together, for the damsel's father had said unto the man, Be content, I pray thee, and tarry all night, and let thine heart be merry." See, so he was giving him some, fatherly advice. Verse 7, "And when the man rose up to depart, his father-in-law urged him, therefore he lodged there again." So he was getting ready to leave. His father-in-law like, "Nah, man, stay another night." Father-in-law was being cool. Verse 8, "And he arose early in the morning, and on the 5th day to depart, and the damsel's father said, Comfort thine heart, I pray thee. And they tarried until afternoon, and they did both eat of them." So this is like one of them trips you planning on leaving earlier than you did. You end up staying later than you were planning. Now you're eating lunch. You were supposed to leave the day before. Verse 9, "And when the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine and his servant, his father-in-law, the damsel's father, said unto him, Behold, now the day draweth toward evening. I pray you tarry all night. Behold, the day groweth to an end. Lodge here, and thine heart may be merry, and tomorrow get you early on your way, and that thou mayest go home. But the man would not tarry that night, but he rose up and departed, and came over against Jebus, which is Jerusalem. And there were with him 2 asses saddled. His concubine also was with him." So he ended up finally leaving, right? Verse 11. And when they were by Jebus, the day was far spent, and the servant said unto his master, Come, I pray thee, and let us turn into the city of the Jebusites, and lodge in it. And his master said unto him, We will not turn aside hither into the city of a stranger, that is not of the children of Israel. We will pass over till Gibeah. See, so that's how our people got down back in the day, man. They wouldn't even stay in no neighboring country or city, nation, if it wasn't occupied by our own people, So Yahweh, he's good with segregation, and the Israelites, that's our mindset, We would just keep to ourselves. You wouldn't even, this day and age, you don't even want to deal with the heathen, man. The 2/3. You don't want to mess with the 2/3. Let's see. Verse 13. And he said unto his servant, Come and let us draw near to one of these places to lodge all night in Gibeah or in Ramah. And they passed on and went their way, and the sun went down upon them. And when they were by Gibeah, which belongeth to Benjamin, and they turned aside thither to go in and lodge in Gibeah. And when he went in, he sat him down in a city of the street, for there was no man that took them into the house to lodging. See, so they didn't have nowhere to lay their heads, so to speak. Verse 16. And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field, and at even, which was also of Mount Ephraim, and he sojourned in Gibeah. But the men of the place were Benjaminites. So they were both Israelites, but then you had the Ephraimite, Verse 17. And when he had lifted up his eyes, he saw a wayfaring man in the street of the city. And the old man said, Whither goest thou, and whence comest thou? And he said unto them, We are passing from Bethlehem, Judah, toward the side of Mount Ephraim. From thence am I. And I went to Bethlehem, Judah, but I am now going to the house of the Lord, of Yahweh, and there is no man that receiveth me to house. Yet there is both straw and provender for our asses, and there is bread and wine also for me, and for the handmaid, and for the young man which is with thy servants. There is no want of anything. And the old man said, Peace be with thee, howsoever let all thy wants lie upon me, only lodge not in the street. So he was giving them a place to stay, finally, Verse 21. So he brought him into his house and gave provender unto the asses, and they washed their feet, and did eat and drink. And they just refreshing themselves in the old man's house. And let's see. So provender is animal fodder. Basically, it's coarse food for cattle, or horses, or sheep, or donkeys in this case. I'll just see that 144 at the top of my screen. All right, so let me see. Where am I? Let me go back to Judges 22, 19 and 22. It says, Now, as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, beset the house round about, and beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, Bring forth the man that came into thine house, that we may know him. So the sons of Belial are basically, those would be heathen today, because that's Baal is another word for Belial. And this could have been some heathen. This could have been some 2/3, But either way, they're acting like the same tumult of people that was at the doors of Lot during the times of Sodom and Gomorrah, when they were trying to know the angels that were in the house in that story. This is the similar story. You have these sons of Belial who, like I said, these would have been 2/3 or heathen, right? Just like right now. You got heathen in the 2/3, man. They're literally the sons of Baal or Belial. Why? Because they don't listen, they don't believe this truth, they don't follow the laws. Their mindset, like in the story I was telling earlier about the child support, they feel like that's justice. They're like, oh yeah, that man, he's got 4 women pregnant, with kids. He should pay all of them some money, Well, that's not scriptural, But verse 23, that would be a Belial mindset, But this is Babylon, man. This is the home of Baal and Belial, right? Verse 23, and the man, the master of the house, went out unto them and said unto them, Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly, seeing that this man is come into mine house, do not this folly. Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden and his concubine. Them I will bring out now, and humble ye them, and do with them what seemeth good unto you, but unto this man do not so vile a thing. So, in this day and age, if some man was coming to the door trying to rape and be homosexuals, trying to sodomize other men, and then the father offers his daughter and also the concubine of the Levite, people would be like, oh man, they're out of their mind. But this is showing you that this man was being righteous by doing that. It was actually a righteous act. It's more wicked for them to rape the men than for them to rape the women. So it's just, with Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai, everything's in order, everything is logical, but emotions get caught up in the situation in Babylon, America. You be like, oh hell no, you ain't gonna, you know what I mean? It's just, it would be looked at as taboo for somebody to offer their daughter instead of allowing the man to get raped, which is just, both situations is crazy. But you see the same thing happened in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah with Lot and the angels. Go look at that story. Verse 26. Oh no, I'm sorry. Verse 25. But the men would not hearken to him, so the man took his concubine and brought her forth unto them, and they knew her and abused her all the night until the morning, and when the day began to spring, they let her go. So these dudes just ran a train on this chick, man. They was going through her, And that's just crazy to think about that whole situation, right? Verse 26. Then came the woman in the dawning of the day and fell down at the door of the man's house where her Lord was till it was light. And her Lord rose up in the morning and opened the doors of the house and went out to go his way. And behold, the woman, his concubine, was fallen down at the door of the house, and her hands were upon the threshold. So now these women, they were all worn out, man. They got ran through, they got ravished, they got raped. They pulled a train on these women, man. And it says they abused them, So let's keep reading. And her Lord rose up in the morning and opened the doors of the house and went out to go his way. And behold, the woman, his concubine, was fallen down at the door in the house, and her hands were upon the threshold. And he said unto her, Up, and let us be going. But none answered. Then the man took her upon an ass, and the man rose up and gat him unto his place. And when he was come into his house, he took a knife and laid hold of his concubine and divided her together with her bones into 12 pieces and sent her into all the coasts of Israel. All right. So he done cut her up, man. He cut this bitch up just because. I mean, think about it, man. First, she was, and really everything is of Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. All the things that happen to people, you know, Yahweh Bashem Yahshai is the one who allows it to happen, right? So, at this point, because remember in the beginning of the chapter, it says she played the whore on him. Now she got ran through him. I'm not ran through him, but she got ran through by all those men from the sons of Belial, right? The sons of Baal. They fucked the shit out of her and raped her, ravished her. You got, you know, old boy, the Levite, he's already like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn, this chick she's useless, man. Everybody's fucked her, man. You see? And then let's keep reading. And he cut her up, man, in 12 pieces. Right? In verse 30. And it was so that all that saw it said, there is no such deed done, nor seen from the day that the children of Israel came up out of the land of Egypt unto this day. Consider of it, take advice, and speak your minds. See? So they say, consider this, man. That's why in the kingdom, the women ain't going to be doing that, because they're going to consider, because the laws are going to be pushed in the kingdom. A woman will know that if she gets, you know, if she decides to play the whore game, that she's going to be put to death. And in this case, this girl was so worked up, so used up. The Levite deemed it fit just to cut her up, and to the point where people were like, dang, we ain't never seen no shit like that, you know? So, that's why it says, consider of it, take advice, and speak your minds, you see? And let's just go to a real quick preset. Judges 20:7. Behold, ye are all children of Israel. Give here your advice and counsel. See, so that was the advice. Like, consider this thing, man. You know, these women, they would consider this stuff before, now they be in order. But nowadays, they don't have to worry about these laws against them, you know? They're getting awarded alimony. They're getting awarded child support. They're getting awarded all kind of stuff for their wickedness, you know? Let me pull out one more precept before I close out. Proverbs 13:10. Only by pride cometh contention, but with the well-advised is wisdom. All right? So this is wisdom. Now, women who hear this lesson, take heed to this. You know, this is the scriptures. You know, if you're a new, if you're repenting and you're new in this truth, you know, then this is something for the women to consider. You know, like everything is of Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. It was Yahweh Bashem Yahshai's will to have that woman chopped up in 12 pieces and sent basically to the nation of Israel, representing, you know, the 12 tribes, you know. Each tribe got a piece of this woman, to the point where it was like, damn, we ain't never seen no shit like that before, you know. But the women will be in order in the kingdom, you know. Because they don't want to get chopped up, man, or put to death. You notice how nobody in this story ever said, "Oh, well, he was a wicked for doing that." No, because really that's the law. So he wasn't wicked, you know. In Esau's kingdom, man, if this happened, this dude would be he would be put on death row. You know what I mean? See, this is how you see the different mindsets, man. You got a mindset of a heathen, and then you got the mindset of the righteous, of the elect. The elect knows that, hey, this is poetic justice, if you will. You see, but the heathen, they'll want that man put to death. They'll want him to be put in on death row or lifetime in prison. You can see the two different mindsets, man. So with that, I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ha Rakah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect.